So let's get the configuration started. So let's bring up the NVMS7000. Okay. So first of all, let me default my unit. I don't think I have defaulted yet, so let me default it yet first, okay? So yeah, I haven't defaulted it yet. So this is to default it, there's two options here. So restore default settings and restore all. So the function to default completely restore is using the restore all. So once I click OK, the unit will restart and everything will be gone. Okay, and also we'll be using the you could also use the NVMS7000 to I'm sorry, the IP Pro to program it. So as you can see, the IP Pro right now is detected the controller. So what we have to do is, just like our normal cameras, we activate it first. So once I activate it, so it says activated, so we can start entering the IP address. So in this case, we'll put this is the IP address, and then assign a gateway. If for some of you guys that see the IPv6 address as is blank, the simple easy way to bypass it is just put two colons on the address and so the gateway. So just in case you're experiencing that the IPv6 address is open, allow you to not grayed out. So just put two colons in there on each one, and you can bypass it. So now I've added it, and after I assign the IP address, the controller will restart. While we start, let me answer some questions. Do you have kits that include this a two-door upgrade to a four-door? We have two-door function, Ronnie. We have two doors option. We have four-door option. So, but if you want to buy a two doors and upgrade to a four-door, that's something that doesn't have it. So once you do the configuration, you will have the LTK 2802 over here. So you click on Add to Client on the bottom, and it will pretty much give you the nickname. I'll put server room access control, and then I put in the password that I used to activate the unit. So once I add it, you will see on the bottom. I didn't see the message. Let's go back and let me delete the this first, and let me go back and edit again. So server room AC. Okay, see now it's imported successfully. So the first thing first, what you need to do is highlight the access control, the controller, and then click on remote configuration. So the first thing first, before you do anything, okay, you have to make sure the firmware version. So make sure you on 17.11.22. This is the 2017 November 22nd version. So make sure on the latest version. If you don't know where it is, you can that is on our website. So as your sales rep, they will send you the link to download it. So if you're on the latest version, the next thing you need to do is you need to go to time. So first thing first is we need to assign the time. So of course I'm in Eastern time right now. I will set it Eastern time. Turn on NTP and put in the NTP server. I usually use Windows. It's because our MVR by default, the NTP is using time.windows.com. So the reason why you want to use the same times NTP as the MVR or the DVR, because they need to be synchronized when you're doing verification. So this is a very important part. So the first part I will put the sync interval is 1 minute, and then I'll enable the DST, which is March second week, and then November first week, 60 minutes. Once I save it, okay, the next step is also very important. You have to go to network and then go to advanced settings. Make sure you put DNS, otherwise it will not synchronize with the NTP. And once I've done that, okay, the NVR, the controller restarts after you put the DNS. So right now it's restarted. Okay, so let's wait a little bit. It restarted pretty quickly, so it's already came back. Okay, so now close this, and we will. If you do not have this event alarm, usually is on the bottom. You see right here, this is the usually the alarm event. But if you want to enable this as a second tab, you will go to Tools. Okay, and then you will go to System Configuration. And then that's the option, let me see. It's actually under control panel, under alarm, right here, real-time alarm, right here. Oops, not real-time alarm, it's the alarm events right here. So, Drew, thank you for the hint. I totally forgot where it was. But anyways, so after I'm going to clear this first. Okay, so apparently the first thing we need to do is about the NTP. That's something that's the most important part because we want the time to be synchronized. So right now we got the time set up. Make sure the DNS is in place. Okay, and your network setting is correct. Okay. So the next thing is we're gonna configure it. Okay, so we're gonna go to control panel. Sorry, and then you probably didn't have this access control before. So you go to control panel and then you bring up access control. So once you bring this up, you will add this little many small tabs. So we're going to delete this organization first. So we're going to start from scratch. So the first thing first is you had to add an organization. So we'll put in just LTS New Jersey. Okay, and under the LTS NJ, which is the first main organization, I'm going to add another sub-organization, which is the server room. The reason I do this because you might have the installation that you might have more than just one controller, so you want to be able to organize them. But the credential going to apply to all of them. So you go to server room, and I'm going to add a person. I just attached the card issuer. So let's see what happened. So of course, the phone number you could put whatever you want, place, email, ID, and job title, whatever you need to do, but we're gonna go to cards to add a card. So in order to add a card, we have option, because this is only to name the card what kind of card it is, but technically they are the same credential. But um, to assign a card, there's multiple options. So you have access control. You can use the access control card reader. You can use this card reader to assign the card, and you click on read, and you go to the door, and go to that specific card reader and scan the card, and that way it will read the card number. Or you can use the card enrollment, which is the one that I show you, the card issuer. There's two options here. So you have one is normal, one is wiegand. So we're gonna choose wiegand and then save. And once you've done it once, you don't have to do it again. So I'm going to click on read, and you heard a little beeping sound, which is my the card issuer on my desk right now, and I'm going to scan it now. So as you can see, after I scan it, it will bring up the card, and then I'll click OK, and the person will come up. Okay, so this is, and then you click on OK, and then the person's already added. So the next thing is you're going to go into the little, this is the permission part, but before we do that, we're going to go to the advanced function, and then we're going to go to card reader authentication. So after that, you're going to bring up every single tab. So for card reader 1, you have multiple options to choose from. So if you want to configure it, this is the 3 options. So you can either have card to enter, card and password to enter, which means you scan the card, it still require your password to enter. Or if you want to use card or authentication password, so either or can enter. Okay. So because our card reader that we have at the door has the keypad function on it, so we're gonna choose card or authentication. So I'm gonna just draw a little line on the on the box, and then I'll go back to the front and drag it oopsie, drag it all the way to the front. Or if easier, you could actually put in the the time here, and then click OK. And then now I'm going to copy to every single week and then save it. After I save this, I could either copy it to all the other room, or if you do not want to, other doors, other card readers. So in this case, I'll do that. So after I've done this, I'm going to go to permission, and I'm going to add a permission. The permission name, for example, I have 2 doors here. I only want to only put permission for door 1 for myself. So after you give the permission name, and I'll choose this person, which is me. I'm going to add it. And then on the bottom, which is which door you want to point it to. So I'm only allowing to enter door 1, and I'll edit. And then I'll click OK. After this, it will ask you to apply this data to the controller, which is right now, I'm not done yet. I'll say apply later. But on the status part, it will show you the permission has not applied yet. And then I'll add another permission, which is door 2. But before I do that, let's create another person, okay? Because we only have 1 person here. And next person I'm going to create is Thrax. And I'm going to add a card. Enrollment, read it. I'm just going to use another credential here. Okay, and then click OK. It will come up right here, and then I click OK. So this person is created. So I go back to the permission part and add another permission. So I'm going to enter store or 2 only. So as you can see, the previous person I created, it will be Thrax, and I will be showing up here. And I'm going to let it to choose to only go to door 2. So you cannot use door 2 to go in. And I'll click OK. So now I'm completely done. But let's say if you accidentally click on apply later, so which is going to showing not apply, you can have click on apply all, and it will apply to both. So you see this one is applied it, and so this one is not yet. So you're going to apply that one too. So now both applied it. So another part where you're going to enter, where you're going to create the password, which is the authentication password over here. So if you select authentication password and you double click on it, you will bring up the 2 person here. So I'm going to use mine as 1, 2, 3, 4, and then Thrax will be 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, and then I'll save it. So this is basically the configuration on how to assigning doors, permission to create a person, which is very easier. And so the next thing I want to show you guys is how do you link to an DVR or NVR or an IP camera. So first thing first, you have to have a camera or NVR to the actual device, to the NVMS7000. So as you can see, I already added the NVR to the NVMS7000, and if you go to controller and then go to main view, so this is the server room that we're going to be working on. Okay. So after we added all the channels that we need, we will go to access control, and then we'll go back to the main panel, and then we will go to event management, as you can see here. Okay, and now under the events management, you have option called access control events. So right here, you will see the doors. So for example, the door 1, which is the one that I showed you before, I'm going to select trigger camera as camera 4. And then email linkage, alarm trigger, you can either enable this or you can disable it. But to demonstrate it, I'm gonna just to trigger the alarm pop-up for now. Okay, and then I'm gonna go to the card reader one, and also because you have all this permission, and as you can see, all this permission you can select from. I'm just since this is for testing for now, I'm gonna leave it all on. Okay, save this, and then same. We do not have a card reader too, so I'm gonna have Thrax to demonstrate. But before we demonstrate, there's a function I want to show you guys. If you go to tools and then go to system configuration, usually these 2 functions are not enabled. So if you see pop-up security prompt when using default password, enable alarm. This one is alarm enable alarm trigger pop-up. So I'm going to enable it. So you're going to see what happened when someone try to get to the door. So I'm going to have threats to enter the door. And also, if you can see all this alarm event saying that the NTP is actually auto-synchronized. Once you see this, you can go back to the device and go back to the controller and change it from 1 to higher number. So that case you won't be always seeing the NTP AutoSync. Okay, so right now I'm gonna have threats. What he's gonna try is he's gonna use the second card to try to unlock the door, and of course he will not able to unlock it because it says he doesn't have permission. And then he's gonna use the first card to enter it. Okay, so do you have kits that include all the necessary hardware for full installation for comprehensive price as a kit? Good question. We are looking to create a kit to like a two-door. Okay, so here we go. So as you can see, this is the pop-up that I just got just now. So as you can see, you will see threats will be coming over to using the card. This is actually an instant playback that you're gonna get a pop-up notification. This is why I said the time has to be synchronized. As you can see, threats were not able to enter before. Okay, using the second card reader. So how do we see all this happening? If you go back to event alarm events, as you can see here, you see this is the activities. So this is showing that he has granted access. So let's click on the playback button. So that way you can always play back the video. So exactly you see the video that happens. Okay, he can enter with the first card, and then now he enters it. Okay, so this is the second part, which is under the alarm event playback, which is something that you don't have to search for it, and you don't have to look for it. It's pop up automatically because this is alarm event. So in order to search for it, which is the log search, we're gonna go back to access control, and then on the bottom that's a search. Once you click on search, you will choose the device. Of course, you can choose the door, so I'm going to choose this, the whole access control, and then I'm just going to click on everything. So this is everything that came up. Okay, as you can see, he uses my card to enter, so that way you can click on the playback. It will actually go to the NVR and give you the playback because it's already synchronized. Because of the pre and post pre-recording, still want to show you exactly what happened prior to the person enters the door. So basically, you will see right there. So this is the another ways to able to see the actual log. And also, if you look at the right side, if you have the picture of the person, the other information as well, you're able to see it on the right side. Okay, so that way you can see everything. I do see we have a lot of questions, so let's get to it first. Do we have the doorbell in stock? Some of them have it in stock, but it's not ready yet at this moment. Okay, how do we integrate with the DVR and MVR? So I just showed it, Mark. So it is an IP-based access control. How do you apply later? So you will go to the permission part right here. So you will select it and you apply all. So that's how you apply afterwards after you're done. Is it possible to run the software without hardware? You can run the software without the hardware, but you just won't be able to create anything. You won't be able to connect to it. You won't be able to apply the permission. But of course, if you want to create the users, it might be possible. So you could pre-program it before you go to the job site, and then when you get to the job site, you just apply everything. So that could be doable as long as you don't apply to the controller because you have nowhere to apply it yet. Juan, the pop-up image only activate when the software is on, or the pop-up image can be display motion. Display on motion attached to DVR. The pop-up video only applies to the computer NVMS7000 as of right now. But in the future, that we are working on the NVR and also DVR firmware. So we're probably able to add like a trigger option. So when someone enters the door, it will have a video pop-up. Like on the video pop-up, we probably maximize the full screen the current channel. That might be something that we could work on. And Francisco, can the camera can the camera to register with access control can be a TOI system? Yes. So it doesn't have to be an NVR. It doesn't have to be an IP camera. It could be DVR with TVI camera. And David, what do you mean by graphic interface? The ACE access control works with DVR, or it works with both one. Does the door phone model have speaker and mic? Yes, it does. Will this software interface to non-LTS DVR? Mark, unfortunately, the NVMS7000 only work with LTS NVR as of right now. You mean the e-mapping, right? Yes, we do have the e-mapping. Have to find that, see where that is. The e-mapping. E-map right here. So basically, you can add a map. So that way you can, you know which door is which door, where the camera is. So that way, you can add the cameras to it. So you can create your own e-maps here. If this is IP based, mean we can open in any browser at PC control, access control. Francisco, unfortunately, we our access control only option to control it is using NVMS7000. It does not have any browser interface as of right now. And Juan, with the doorbell, has two-way audio communication. Yes, correct. So you can talk to the person, and whoever the person that speak to you, you can actually communicate with that person. Company using NVMS7000 of this location throughout the country with no access control anyway. At least 2 to 3 doors per building of a control, it would be a sufficient under 64. Correct. Well, if they're not at the same location, then they're not basically managing with remotely. So every location will have their own NVMS7000. In that case, it's not really tied to the single NVMS7000 limitation. So Ronnie, each location will have their own NVMS7000. So you still can connect up to 16 controller and up to 64 doors. So what version of the MSN has access control integration? I'm using version 4. If you go to help and you go to about, this is the version that we have here. And if you go to our website, you can download the latest version, which is the one that I'm using now. Will there be a remote internet using the customer outside IP address? We are working on remote opening doors, but I cannot guarantee you guys when will it be ready or will it be ready. But that's something that we are looking into right now, so we can remotely access the control. We can definitely access the controller. We can definitely configure it using remotely. But the thing is, we cannot remotely open the door. But you have to set up port forwarding. And also, I do want to let you guys one very important piece of the puzzle is only one NVMS7000 allowed to be connected to the to connect to the controller. If you have multiple NVMS7000 connected, only one will work, and it will cause a lot of issue back and forth. To add a key fob or card to the system, do you sell a unit to connect to a USB port? Yes, Francisco. That's the card issuer right here. So this is the card issuer to assign the card. It will make things a lot easier for the end users. They are all They are all monitored from California, so they want to monitor everything. So in that case, but how about assigning credential? That might be something that they have to think about. So which means what they can do is they can have one computer in the California headquarters, and for every location they will have the MMS7000 to assign to do the enrollment. But once they do the enrollment, they have to close it. Otherwise, they're going to interfere with the California location. So Juan, in the past, I have issue with the software that's using a lot of resource of the network and computer. Is there any specification for the computer to run the computer all day without crashing the computer? I mean, the NVMS7000 that we have here, if you not using any video, because this is only strictly for NVMS for the access control. Technically, you don't even need to have it open. The access control runs without the NVMS7000 as normal. You only need it is when you need to assign the new users and you need to search the logs. So that's something that you might want to consider. So technically, you don't really have to have the NVMS7000 running in the back in order for access control to be running. And as you can see, I'm doing webinar, I'm recording, and I have video, I have access control. I'm only using like 20% of the processor and 30% of the memory right now. So it's not a very hungry, memory or processor hungry program. And next question, can we configure it such as add and delete user remotely? Correct. So if you set up port forwarding, so that way you can remote access to the controller, and then you just did what I did, and you can remote access it. But usually I would recommend do it locally. It's probably better because you're gonna have all the cards and all that stuff. How can I view the current time in the controller? Um, this is whenever that event happens, that will be the actual time. right here. And I don't believe there's an actual time that you can see under the, yeah, I don't see there's a time option. Okay, Threx just reminded me if you're under device management, oh, right here, is it? Wait, here, refresh. Yeah, as you can see, if I keep refreshing it, it keep giving me the time. So this is the real time on the bottom, as you can see. Okay, so this is the, so okay, to understand that I have a customer that has these 8 location using to all NVMS7000 location cannot use to multiple doors to each location with the monitor. Ronnie, because your case of maybe a little complicated, who's your sales rep? I'm gonna speak to your sales rep, and we could get in contact with you, and we can see what we can do to help you with this project. And also, what version of the NVMe7 both PC and Mac? We currently only offer the NVMe7000 on PC for the access control as of right now, but we're working on the Mac. What database do we use? David, the current, there's no like SQL server or anything. All the settings is going to be all the the users, the permission, everything in the store on the controller, and the NVMe7000 is to basically look for those information and coordinate with it. And also, but that's one thing is very important is you always have to remember to export the person. So that in that case, just in case the computer crash, you're still able to use the backup to load it back to on the computer. So that way you know which person is which person. Key fab and card have to be LTS brand or can be any brand. Francisco, you can use. Of course, I would suggest you to use LTS, and I think the pricing that we listed is very competitive and it's not very expensive. But of course, one thing that you have to make sure is the card that if your customer have existing card, they have to make sure they're using 13.56 megahertz. My fair card, okay. And also for the HID compatibility, we currently do not support HID card, so this might be a little confusing, okay. So our current card reader lineup do not support HID card, but our controller can connect to a HID card reader. So if you have HID card reader installed for some of the project that you'll be working on, if you have HID card reader already installed, it can connect to our control with no problem. But if you want to replace the card reader and use the HID card on our card reader, that will not work. And for other brand, yes, as long as the credential and also the frequency matches, it should work. What type of database asset control using to manage all the user data? It's actually, as I said before, it's stored it on the controller, on the actual controller memory. Does NVMe7 does badging? You mean like to create a badge of users? Yes, it does. So if you go to right here, add person in badge, so you can create, badge of users, issue cards in badge, they have options like this. Sarah is yourself, so definitely I'll talk to Sarah and I'll have her get in contact with you. We could coordinate and see how can we help you with the project. Right? If the customer needs to have some simultaneous access, for example, security and HR and lobby, can it be done? David, unfortunately, only one computer can have utilized the function of the NVMe7000. That may be something that we can work on in the future, but as far as right now, it's only one. But as you know, all the LTS products, we're always looking for ways to improve our products to match, to be more competitive. So that's something that we could be working on too. But as far as right now, it's only one. I have LTK1103MK won't read any cards, 26 or 36. What are the corrective switch for settings? I believe it's 6 and 7. If you look at the user manual that came with it, or if you don't have it, I can definitely email it to you. Drew, what's your sales rep? I can have you email you the user manual. I believe the 1103 is a wider one. If it's a wider one, the default setting is all 0. So 6 and 7 is the one that you need to play around with. But I can definitely email you the user manual if you don't have it. But let me know who's your sales rep. So Francisco, do you sell printer to print the cards, or access control can be connect to any card printer? We currently do not offer any printer to print the cards yet. Party meaning they are not HID compatible. They have to use the manufacturer brand. No, you don't have to use the manufacturer brand. It's not tied to it. So technically, I have tried other MyFair card from other manufacturer. It also works. Can NVMe7000 manage servo controller in different geographic location? If so, what communication protocol is used? It's port forwarding. So it will be using port forwarding. You set up port forwarding and then just like normal NVR and IP cameras. That's all the question I got so far. Any other question or anything else you guys want to see for the actual setup? We do have a couple of things I can show you guys. If you go to the event management, and let me see which one is it. Okay, my bad. It's under access control. Let me see. Okay, this is a function that we want. It could be very useful for some of the organizations or some of the business too. So they could use the first card. See right here, you can use the first card. If someone opens the first card and the door will remain for how long? So first card authorization remain open with first card. So that way I let the card open for like 3 hours. So that's 180 minutes. So that way if someone opens the door, the door will open for 3 hours after that. Okay, so we have more question coming up. If I'm currently remotely configuring the PC, can that negatively affect the access control component? It won't. It won't until the settings will not apply to the controller unless you apply to it. So Drew, to clarify, is there is not remote app to unlock the door without a doorbell? Currently, no. Currently, the access control controller do not support remote app to unlock it, but we are working on it. It's still in progress. Francisco, where's the part where you can set up the input and output to program any button to release the door, trigger any sirens? So if you go to event management, access control, alarm input right here. So this is the alarm input that you can use. You can utilize it. So card reader buzzing, alarm output, access control point. Let me see. There's alarm input for the access control is not here. I believe it's right here. So this is where you can use. So access control point. So it will disable, enable, close. There's something that way you can play around with, and depends on the how you want to use the input function. So if it's open, or if it's the output, you want to enable to trigger certain things. This is where the settings you can use. Does the controller support anti-passing back? Yes, correct. That we do. If you go to access control, anti-passing back is right here. So this is where you can program it. I mean, configure it with a Mac that will impact. Well, we don't. The NVMS7000 Mac version doesn't even have the access control function at all, so it won't do any negative harm to it. Can you adjust the door release time? Yes. So that's a very good question. If you go to the settings right here, if you go to door one, right here, so time of interval here. Let me see, where is this? I think it's door one. So the door lock time is 5, auto operation by card disabled 15 seconds. So right here, that's somewhere you can change the time to 10 seconds, 15 seconds, whatever you like. Can auxiliary input and output be mapped into different things? If so, what other features? Thank you. It's kind of confusing. Can you be more specific about this? Can I use any brand DVR to integrate access control? It must be LTS, unfortunately, Junior. All Mac need to have a release button in case something goes wrong. So it's very important to input to program to release the door. So our access control have designated exit button interface. So and also it's self-adaptive to either normal open, normal close. So basically, each door will have one exit button interface. It's not going to be programmable. It's going to be door one for one exit button, door two have one exit button. So that way, you don't have to worry about reprogramming it. It's causing more complicated issue. So each door will have one designated exit button interface, and it's self-adaptive either to either normal open or normal close. Mark, thank you for joining me. You have a good one. If you have any question, you can email it. But guys, if you have any question after the webinar, you can always email us at sscontrol@ltsecurityinc.com. It's sscontrol@ltsecurityinc.com. And if you have question, you can stay behind and ask me a question. I'm happy to answer if you need to go. But if you have question later on, please send us an email. And also, pay attention to our YouTube channel. This video will be uploaded to there, so that way you can review it. Okay, so Francisco, does your card reader buzz when the door is still open after the time was supposed to be open? Yes, that's a good one. We do have that function. So let me go back here. Let's see if I still remember how to configure that. So I think it's right here, card reader buzzing. Um, I think it's enabled right here, and then let me see, access control. That is offline buzzing time failure. I have to look at the instruction again. I don't exactly remember, but it does. So like, let's say if the door is not fully closed, it would trigger the card reader to buzz. Ronnie, sure, absolutely. I'll talk to Sarah and we can have a phone call, like a conversation regarding your project. Would that not be a good jar of features? Junior, which part you talking about? You're welcome, Ronnie. Mapping input and output is having the option like if in out one input one is closed and the output one or two will be changed state dot close etc. Is a tech support trained on this product line? Yes, we have several tech support already trained. Of course, not every single one, but as I said, if you have question or issue, send email to accesscontrol at ltsecurityinc.com, and me and Threx will be able to help you guys. The bus after the noise had been open to the bus after the door has been open for too long. Junior. It's an option that you can choose from, so you can turn it on, you can turn it off. Francisco, how many doors can be added to the base system? It will be two doors. If you have two doors controller, it will be two doors. If you have four door controller, four doors. But as I said, you can stack them. So Michael, when will you have training class on access control next? We will in New Jersey probably toward the end of the month, but stay tuned from your sales. They will send invitation to we're gonna host a seminar to talk about it and look at it physically. Access control come in panel with power supply. It comes with the power supply actually. So the power supply actually, welcome Michael. The power supply already comes underneath the circuit board, so it's from 110 to DC12. So as you all see, the access control is very simple. It's not like super complicated. It just takes a couple of trainings to understand where is where and how you follow the instruction and where which column is where. So basically, it's not that hard. So um, Francisco, can you recommend to use that power supply to open strike? I have done it. So there's a DC 12 volt power outlet on the main board. You can use that for the door strike, but I usually recommend people use a separate power just in case anything goes wrong. So but you can use that, but I recommend use a separate ones. Can seminar in New Jersey be recorded and served with people who can physically attend? Depends on where location. We are looking to host seminar at every single office. So that way we can have more people to attend and join us. I believe that we have done that. We have recorded the seminars that able to show it, but I'm afraid the audio might not be as clear because the distance on the camcorder. But that's not something that we can definitely do. Junior, what's the current rating for the door lock circuit? What do you mean by that, Junior? The access control do not supply the power to the door locks. It's the door lock requires separate power supply, and the door lock that we currently carry is DC12. How the door controller connect between them, two wires or four wires? For the controllers to the card reader will be six wires. For the exit button, if you're using the normal mechanical button, it will be two wires. If you're using the one that require DC12 for the exit button, there will be four wires. And Drew, in the other section in the remote configuration, there's a picture upload option. What file is support and where is the display? You mean the user informations? You mean right here, this picture? So it support JPEG. In device management, I mean other, which this other we will configure other here. Picture upload. Some of the function here is not really, it's not even working because face detection doesn't work, and some of the option is just it's not functional. So I could find out exactly what they're trying to do here, but I'll find out. But I don't think that has something to do with it though. Okay, Francisco, we have a 16 door access system to implement. We have all card card stack in one panel. Yeah, absolutely. So this is why I suggest when you creating the access control, you could create multiple sub organization. So that way, you can easier to manage them. Does NVMS7 support a map layout for the building and assign doors for it to live viewing? Yes, correct. We do have that. So we do have EMAP, so you can add a map to it. And once you add the map, you can assign which cameras is where, and then the door is where. So that way, it's easier to manage for the end users. Steve, did you say it has 115 5 power rather than DC12 for transforming? So basically, Steve, the power from the outlet to the controller is 110, and we have the 110 transformer and then converted to DC12 for the circuit board. So it's 110 and then to DC12. Do you have the specific CDF on your website, Francisco? I believe we do. If not, that's something that we can make sure that we will have it. So let's say if you go to LTK. Yeah, there we go. So we should have a user menu right here. So user menu and spec sheets are here. So as I said, if you have any question, it will be access control at ltsecurityinc.com. So definitely email it to me. So that way, if you have a question, email it to us, or if you have any suggestion, or I see that we have a lot of attendees that actually very experienced in access control too. I mean, if you have any suggestion to improve our access control, feel free to let us know too. So that way, we can improve our products. And do you have a website? There you go. Yeah, that's the spec sheets. You can download it. You can open it from our website. So okay. And do you have the new Max holding 120-pound pressure? Charles, that's something that we are looking in the future. We currently only carry 600 pounds, but we will definitely consider bringing a 1200 also. What is our YouTube channel? If you go to our website and if you scroll to the bottom right here, there's the little icon will bring you to our YouTube channels. Yes, we do have other than this. We also have the YouTube. The access control and also doorbell, IP camera, and all that stuff too. Okay, so David, you need the 1103 MK user manual, right? It probably doesn't show in the picture, but if you look at our the presentation right here, you see that little silver part on the bottom. That's a transformer on the bottom. You see the 110 wire power coming through and then to a transformer. It does not have the interface to connect to the battery, but the simple solution will be just connect a USB battery backup. Murphy, the camera doesn't interface with the panel itself physically. It's actually connected to the NVMS7000. So the NVMS7000 is the one to synchronize them together. So there's no actual interface that connects to the panel physically. Thank you very much for joining me today. And especially, it's a new product and I see a lot of interest. That's very good. And the very main thing for this too is we want our customer able to contact the previous installation. In that case, they could try to sell them, and we set access control that we can actually implement to our video, your current video, or just swap out the controller, and then you can make more sales. So you guys can even be more success, using our LTS product. And if you have any question, please email us at regarding access control is accesscontrol@ltsecurityinc.com. And thank you for joining me today. And you guys have wonderful the rest of the week. Thank you.